Good morning, FlossTube. It's Chrissy, finally a farm girl, and for Pete's sake, is here with me today. Luckily, I have friends that are stitching other things besides market releases, so they have some fun things to share. And Peter has brought with him today pretty much everything from when he left off the last time he visited.
Yep.
And I think that might include some No New November.
Yes.
Okay, so today is what, Sunday, February 5th?
Yep.
And I only have a few things. The most that I have to share is about a couple of new things that happened this week. So if you missed it, which I'm guessing you probably didn't, but just in case you missed it, I did have created a website. Now, I did not do this alone. It was a huge task that my sister came down for a visit, and she really kind of grabbed it by the horns and went with it, and I provided information and pictures and then...
It's a great website.
Thank you. I think she
did a wonderful job.
I know, right? I was like, wow.
Yep.
Fancy. So it's still growing. I did want to mention that if you have stitched one of my designs, I have a section called Fabulous Finishes, and I did make sure that everybody had their Instagram name, because that's pretty much the only place I pulled pictures from. And your pictures are there. If I missed it, just let me know. I'd be glad to add you. And but I did make sure to give your photo credit. And other than that, there's a market countdown. There's some fun things, so go check it out. And as well, we did a newsletter. So that was phase 2 of what happened during the week. And that newsletter has a purpose that I can share another time. That kind of links to market, but it worked out to be the perfect timing to create a newsletter that'll come out monthly. I'm thinking towards the end of the month, so stuff actually happens. It's going to have, where I can put some free patterns out there, and if you go subscribe, that was one of the biggest things. We had to make sure it all worked out well. There is a free pattern when you subscribe. I will give you one little piece of information. It has a place for you to put your address, but they are not, what do you call that, when they're red and mandatory? They're not mandatory fields that you have to, you don't have to put your address in. I had about 15 out of close to 500 subscribers message that they were having a hard time when they put the address in. Just skip it, go down and hit subscribe again at the bottom. It seems to be working. Some did it and it worked just fine. Those are just one of those things we'll troubleshoot as we go.
I visited the website, but I didn't see the newsletter link, so I haven't done the newsletter yet. So.
Yes, okay. Well, we did go back to the website, and I think my sister modified it to make it easy. At the bottom of every page of the website now, you can subscribe from there.
Excellent.
So either way, it's simple. It all stays the same, finallyafarmgirl.com, and it does let you know where and how patterns are sold. And if you want a hard copy, where to get the hard copy. If you're want the PDF. And then, of course, there'll be market releases and updates like that. So that was the biggest thing. Do you want me to keep going with mine, and then you run the show after?
That's up to you. I will just make a quick note that she says she doesn't have a lot to show, but on the way to my chair, I snuck a peek at some of the market stuff. It's really cool. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah, the whole dining room table is... I called it Market Mayhem, but it doesn't bother me. It's
well organized mayhem.
Yeah, I like organization. I can be laid back. When it comes to FlossTube, I don't put a lot of pressure on some of that. But when it comes to that, yeah, it's like I'm pretty organized. So you go ahead and do some, and then I'll pop in.
Sounds good. So I was here end of October, and so at that time, I was working on casting a spell, and I did show a finish for the anniversary video, the Brick City cross stitch anniversary video. But I'll just go ahead and show it again.
Yep, you got it.
And so this is Blackbird Designs casting a spell with a Christmas theme. So so I talked about this in the last video, but I was missing this one up here in the corner, and that one was just finished according to the chart using my colors. So this is 32 count Picture This Plus Cyprium, using Wheats Dye Works, Juniper, Light Khaki, and Merlot. And so I finished that after the last video and before I started No New November.
I love that.
So,
Yeah.
yep. So I designed my own. Wasn't a salve because no one stitched along with me, but I knew I was going to have a Christmas Day start. I knew I was going to have a New Year's Day start, and so I wanted to get a really good amount of my works in progresses finished, so that way I wouldn't be overwhelmed. So the first thing I worked on in November was Edward 1874 by European Reproduction. It's an online website out of Berlin, and so this is my Bristol sampler. And I'm doing.
Does it come in that red folder?
Yeah.
Oh.
So because I've got 3 patterns from her,
Wow.
and they're all in that little folder.
Oh.
And then this is how far I've gotten. This is 56 count Seraphim biscuit using SWA 100-3 number 664.
How many spools now have you?
So I used up one empty spool, and the last time I was on here, I said that I had finished 2 pages.
Yeah.
And that I was on 3, but I was only 2.5 pages, or I was only a page and 3/4. I hadn't even finished 2 pages yet. So the last time I was here, I had finished one of these 3 corner motifs, and then I came down a little bit further. So now I truly am done with 2 pages
It is
and a whole spool of 153 feet of silk just to do 2. So I had to put in a panic order of 664. I'm like, oh no, I'm not gonna. I don't know how I did the math so wrong, because I only had like half of what I needed. So I don't know what.
Now, where are you getting your swatch?
So I got the first part of it from Victorian Rose Needle Arts.
Okay.
She's got a website as well as a brick and mortar in Gainesville, Florida. So I got the first half from her, and then she was moving when I ordered the second half.
Yeah.
So the second half came from the attic.
I wonder if is she going to market? Do you know?
She is not.
She's
no.
not. Okay.
No. The next thing I worked on was the Lit Love Rain by.
Let me just turn on. Would that help? I tell you,
There we are.
Yeah, there.
You changed the lights since I was here last time. That's fine.
Yeah.
Lit Love Rain by Teresa Kogut. A lot of people have seen. A lot of people chose this as their New Year, New Start. So, which is a good thing because it's a lot of fun to stitch on. And I'm stitching this on 40 count Seraphim. Let's see, my directions. There we are. 40 count Seraphim prairie grass. I am using the called for colors. The last time I was here, I talked about how I had counted some of my rings in the border. This
Oh yes,
the break.
that's right. Did you find a way to?
I tore them out.
Oh,
and it's one of those
okay.
things that to create a circle like that is fairly easy, and so to take it out, I spent more time worried and trying to figure out an alternative than what it took to take it out and re-stitch 6 rings. And so it's one of those things that when I finish those rings, I'm like, Good grief, Pete. You should have just torn them out from the beginning because you knew that's what you were going to do.
For Pete's sake.
I know. And so during November, I stitched one of these flowers on the top and then finished a butterfly and a bird just because the bird's head and the butterfly were like the bottom of that page. And so I wanted a page finish.
Yeah.
And then I came over here to this other side and I finished this entire page.
The colors are gorgeous.
Yeah.
And you know what? I swear, I won't make you do this, but if he turned it around, you wouldn't know the back from the front. Yes,
No. It's fine. But these are
gorgeous.
These are the called for. It's DMC with the exception of Weeks Dye Works Oscar and mascara.
Oops.
I forget who makes the mascara, but
Weeks,
that's right. It's just plain black. Actually, I'm not even using the mascara. I'm using General Arts Coffee Bean.
You know what? And I know that if anybody remembers, obviously a lot of people will, but Reese, did you ever watch Stitching with Reese? One time she shared, she was working on something with mascara Weeks, and she didn't know if it was just a run of it that was weak. Not weeks, but weak in strength.
Oh, okay.
And it kept breaking on her.
Oh, really?
She couldn't get, And then I found the same thing. So I tend to not design with it.
Really?
It has a beautiful sheen, and I think that's sometimes why people use it. It's different than some of the weeks because it really has a more deep black shine to it, but it always seems to not make it to the end, and it just breaks apart. Because, I replaced with coal or onyx or something.
The Scarlet House's floral motif sampler.
Yeah.
It uses mascara on its border.
Yeah.
And at the time, I'm like, well, I gotta stick to the pattern. And the entire time I was doing that border, I'm like, why am I doing this?
Right.
This is no different than 310. So
right.
Whatever. But that's just my opinion on mascara. So the third thing I worked on for No New November was my modern folk embroidery. And so this is Modern Folk Embroideries Fruits of Plenty. It's the 2021 Stitch Along. The last time I was here, I only was down to like the base of the motifs because that was the bottom of a page. So I just came down and did this motif and a medallion in the center and a medallion on the side.
Perfect.
So the last time I was here, I talked about how, I don't know, can you hold that?
Yep.
That corner. So I talked about how this right here was all filled in and you stitch it in the negative. The vines and the berries show up in the negative. I'm not doing that, so I don't have dense stitching on my piece.
Yeah.
And so this medallion in the center is an evergreen tree, which is very dense. And so I wanted something that was light and airy, not dense like that evergreen.
Yeah. And
so Jacob provides, because there's another medallion down here where you're able to put in like a manor house or a cottage or a church or a barn, or this tree. And so I chose to put this tree instead of the evergreen tree just because it was light and airy, similar to what my border looks like, just because I'm not doing that more dense
the whole
stitching.
piece is like that, so it kind of follows theme.
Yeah, except for I decided to do the tree in white, and then once I finished the white, it reminded me of the Lord of the Rings, the emblem. It's just like, well, that's a little.
Nah, it looks
I love the movies, so I don't care if it looks like that. But it's just one of those things where it's like, that's a little interesting.
Very rich colors.
And so that's a 40 count R&R reproduction fabric called Virginia Beach, and I'm using blank and 459 as my two colors.
Blanc.
Yep.
Blanc.
Yeah, so that got me through No New November. And
Is that all you
those three things
Okay.
are what I did in November. No New November was excellent. I made excellent progress on everything I did.
Me
and
too.
so No New November was no new starts, only works in progresses. It was excellent. The one problem is that you get to Thanksgiving and it's like, oh, what do I need to do for Christmas presents? And it's like, oh, I don't have Christmas presents done, but I've got No New November. So it's like, well, we'll just have to panic stitch in December. And then, like, one of the other things was that at Victoria and Rose Needle Arts, they had a Christmas party, and part of it was a gift exchange. And so I hadn't done that either. And so No New November was successful in what I intended, but it did lead to a little bit of panic in December.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the solution could be Christmas in July. Potentially?
Actually, I think my solution is going to be my September is going to be a Whiptember. And
Gotcha.
so
That's
just
cool.
Yeah, just another play on
So-
words. So my Whiptember, and so I'm just going to work on works in progresses or
And
whips.
if you do samplers from your
Yeah,
whips, you could do sampler September.
Yeah.
And
So I've got lots of samplers that I'm working on. So plus, if I just do my works in progresses, they don't have
Yeah.
to be. I can observe one or the other.
Yeah.
Sampler September or my Whiptember. So either way, yeah. So for my in December 1st, it's one of those things that December 1st came and it's like I had everything laid out on November 30th, and it's like December 1st, the morning of, I wake up and I started my gift exchange for Victoria and Rose Needle Arts.
yeah.
What I did was, I mentioned the Floral Motif Sampler by Scholar House earlier. I did a Blackbird design floral motif sampler.
Oh, cool.
So I just went through all my Blackbird books, chose some floral motifs that I liked, stitched them together, put them in a box, gave it away.
Very good.
So, but everybody loved it, so that was good.
Yeah, that's good. That's fun too, because
Oh,
you're
yeah.
not really having to worry about one pattern. You're just kind of moving through some smaller ones.
Yeah,
That's cool.
So that took just 10 days, and then I had a Christmas Day start planned. So I had a few days to do something, and at Brick City Cross Stitch, Jean has a Black Friday sale. And so she had Good Tidings of Joy by Needlework Press. This was in her 50% off rack. So I've been looking at this for a long time, and so I couldn't pass up 50%. So that's what I did. And so I planned on doing it as a drum. And so
That is gorgeous.
yeah, so I finished. You know what's crazy is I finished this December 20th, and it's still. I mean, I even. I'm
You're
such
ready.
a turkey. I even put the yeah.
Yeah.
So all I need to do, and I didn't pack coming to your house. I didn't pack I have some flannel that I'm going to put on the top and the bottom, and so
Are you gonna?
to
You're
make it
gonna
a drum.
it.
Yep, I'm going to make it a drum. So.
What colors? Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
two
sorry.
colors. So how fun
yeah,
is
so,
that?
Yeah. This was super quick. It was only like 10 days.
You could do
and
an animal a day.
Yeah.
And just
So this is Good Tidings of Joy by Needlework Press. I used Zweigart's 32 count dirty, and then the red is a Weeks Dye Works Lancaster red, and the green is a Terrapin.
love that.
Yeah. So that was fun to stitch. Just filling up the time between until I got to my Christmas Day start.
That
So-
is so cute.
Yeah.
It almost reminds me of a prairie schooler, just not as
Yeah, so
quite whimsical as a.
the one thing that I really liked about it is I wish I had a little bit more variation in my colors, just so that way it would give more of a like a wood brick, a wood stamp type appearance to them. But
Yeah.
it's
I think the
it's
red
cool.
was good, and you see
Yeah.
the variation in the green when you're there.
It
up
could be
close.
better. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
see
still
what you're
pretty.
saying.
I really,
It's very rich looking.
yeah.
It'll look good with your box.
It
When
will.
you make the drum, the green is slightly lighter,
Yep.
but and
Yeah,
so
and
is
I
the
wanted-
red. But how
I
that'll
wanted a
complement.
different. The red in the casting as fell was Merlot.
Merlot,
This is
yeah.
Lancaster red. I didn't want, I wanted a different red and green.
Yeah.
Just for,
I think they'll
sake of being
complement each
different.
other nice.
yeah. So then that got me to my Christmas Day start. Except for I was at the shop. I was questioning one or two of my colors. And so I was at the shop to stitch for the day. And I took a work in progress with me. That's what I was going to work on. And then I'm like, I really want to start my Christmas Day start, even though it was December 23rd. So my Christmas Day start is more of a Christmas break.
Yeah, Christmas
start.
Eve-ish break.
Christmas break. I mean, I wasn't at work. It was a Friday, so I took the day off. And so my Christmas break start is The Winter Is Past by Blackbird Designs. So
Is that an older pattern or newer?
no, I think it's fair. I mean, a lot of places are still selling it.
Okay.
So 2017.
Oh, okay.
It's still widely available.
Yeah.
It's not one of the
Okay.
ridiculously priced out of print ones, but it's fairly regular.
Pretty in the blues again.
Oh yeah.
Blue is kind of your thing, huh? A little bit?
Yeah. Blue.
I mean, not always, but
Yeah, well, this one is all. So here's what it looks like. Stitch up. This is where's it? Oh, this is 36 count. Picture this plus oaken. Now, the one thing that I'll say about the fabric is that it is darker than other okens that I have seen in the shop. So, but it's still beautiful. I mean, the dark blues on the darker, and I don't know if it's mauve or what, but it
has a rose hue to it, but
Yeah.
but not terrible.
No.
Because by the time you finish it and frame it, I don't
Yeah.
know that you're going to see that as
No.
much, but I know what you mean.
and then these are
Hey, not too many colors. That's nice.
no, it's like 4 or 5 different colors
not-
of blue,
That's pretty.
and then 3 colors of green. So it's, come on, there we are. Yeah, so it's just, it's a lot of fun to stitch and to look them over.
And I don't think that oaken is showing up quite as true on the
Yeah.
screen.
No,
It's a little darker than that, but it's very rich looking.
yeah, so that's The Winter Is Past.
I love that.
Yeah, this is,
I can be your friend, you know.
It's going together. I'm really excited about getting this one finished because it's got a lot of blues in it. And last year I stitched Blackbird Designs Violets Blue, which is not blue. It's got 3 different colors of purple on it, and it's got a lot of the violet flowers.
Yeah.
And so
that's going to be pretty together.
I'm really excited about having a really pretty blue Blackbird right beside the purple. So
I wonder
I'm
how
excited.
many Blackbirds you've stitched. Like, do you have an idea of sampler-ish type things?
Well, so here's the thing. Yeah, during the pandemic, Brenda and Laura had their Zoom call with Saltbox Stitcher,
Yeah.
Carol Saltbox, and Carol was sitting in front of her Blackbird wall.
Oh.
and it's inspirational.
right.
There's no other word to, well, there's lots of words, but inspirational is like at the top of that list, and it's like, I want a Blackbird wall, just like Carol Saltbox Stitcher. So the center of it is my Anniversaries of the Heart. Oh, I should talk about that. It's Anniversaries of the Heart, and then I've got 4 or 5 pieces around it, and then I've got like 2 more that are not framed. So
when you grow up and I grow up, we just want to be Carol.
Yeah.
When we grow up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that would be
right.
Amazing. So, but yeah, that's. I just like their colors and their themes, and so during my No New November, I didn't work on any Blackbird, and it's like.
Oh, I bet you were jonesing for it.
Yeah, it's like I really need to do some small stuff.
Yeah.
Because I mean, everything I've shown so far is, at least that the winter has passed is the smallest thing, and it's at least 175 in either direction. So
right.
It's I could do some small Blackbirds, like I saw. You had your
Valentine one.
Your stockings are out.
Yeah.
Like I've got all of those. I can do those. I want a Blackbird wall, but there's more to do than just large samplers.
Absolutely.
So that gets me to the new year. Do you want to take over and show some of your stuff?
Sure.
Or?
And I don't have any books to go with it because what I really had, well, I will say I had designed something at the very end about 2 weeks ago, and I fell in love with it. And I think it was one of those things that I was kind of doing a little bit of a tutorial on designing using PC Stitch Pro a few FlossTubes ago, and then all of a sudden I kind of just was we were working on a design for into next year, and then I got a contact from somebody else. So when you start feeling pressure, it's like stick figures is what comes to your head, and you can't think of anything. So I took a Sunday, and my sister arrived last week. So last Sunday when I didn't record, my sister had showed up, and I really just needed to wrap my head around everything that I had left to do.
Yep.
But I actually took a break, and I just started designing something and relaxed with it, and just said, design for yourself.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I just
make it enjoyable.
Right. And so Matilda's great, and Jeremiah's great, and they'll all say, but this was probably the best thing I've ever designed to me, and it's personal, and it's got all the things I love in it. So I just kept going with it, and then I stitched it in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So so that I could make it for market, and I really like it, and it's getting framed, and there are some things that coming into market a little bit later, I didn't have quite the selection of frames that I wanted. I couldn't really wait. I can always reframe it if I want to. But it was just one of those things that it had to be there, and it was such a joy. I don't know if you ever had a piece where it's just like it did not bother me at all that I was enjoying every stitch of it. So that was a good chunk, 2 weeks straight, so that I could have it done. Then I went up to the shop Wednesday to pick up a finish, and the finisher there, Stacy, who is Miss Prissy on Instagram. So I don't know if we can put this in front of this, if it'll show. I think I'll let you hold it up there closer. But that is my very first strawberry. And it is Erica Michaels Designs. I have a Halloween one, maybe 75% finished, so that'll be the next one. But I used I believe it's called Sprite, 32 count, or does it look like 28 count?
Yep. It may be 32.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It was actually kind of like a scrap, so I went with a light green. I have to admit, I like Linda's decision on her fabric better. I don't know why I'm always attracted to the mushroom and the khakis and the neutrals, but I had that, and I tried it. She chose like a mushroom.
Oh, okay.
Like a sage almost.
Okay.
So but anyways, I like it, and it's
I like
cute.
that button on the top.
Yeah,
it's a snowflake.
It's a big whopper strawberry. Oh, yeah, there you go. So I was pleased with my first
And that's
one.
nice and firm too.
Yeah, yeah. And I even made a mistake. I mean, I'm not going to lie. We were doing this, and what did I make a mistake on? I had to pull it out. I had to pull out the leaf. And it was kind of like you. That one little teeny tiny leaf. And it just made me mad. But it was the worst color that I had grabbed the wrong green.
Part of your, no, because that's not prairie school. So that's not your Saturday prairie school stitching.
No, I wanted to have, like you were talking about, Carol, Brenda has her glass case, and it has all the strawberries in it.
Yep.
That's when I grow up. That's what I want. So that was it, and I've got another one that'll hopefully be close, and then I'll get that one done. It's a little more primitive in nature.
Excellent.
And then I'd like to make some Bristol berries.
Oh, yep.
I think those would be cool. See?
Who does that's not Lizzie Kate, Erica Michaels.
Yeah.
Erica Michaels.
And
Bristol
Erica
series.
Michaels did this.
Okay.
I know there's a few other designers that make berries, but
no one does it better than Erica Michaels.
Yeah, and she's got an interesting one coming out at market. I don't know if you saw it. It's turned backwards, so you can't see it, but it looks
interesting.
Looks kind of
I
cool.
hadn't seen that yet.
And a black work. She has a black work drum.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And black velvet on something really cool, but you can't see anything.
Yep.
And
That's a
then
sneak peek.
the other finish I got back was JBW Designs when we were doing the JBW Sal. This is one of the mittens that came from her books, and this was the one I had shared a while back where I had done some 1/1 stitching, and I think that's vellum. It's either vellum or Heartland or
Heartland. It looks like vellum is a little bit lighter, but
yeah.
Heartland.
And so it was supposed to be for my granddaughter for Christmas. So there's the A and 22 for the Christmas. So we're just gonna give it to her this Christmas coming up.
Yep.
I did learn a lesson. I didn't leave her quite enough fabric, so it was harder for her to sandwich the two together. But other than that, I really kind of like how it turned out for my first mitten.
No, it's very cute.
Yeah. So I'd like to stitch the next one for Matthew. So I have plenty of time since this one did
another mitten.
Yeah, and put an M on it. And actually, there's one in her book, in Judy's book, that has an M in it.
Are you gonna do green, or are you gonna do it in red so they match?
I don't know, because I'm still torn on. I kind of thought they'd be cute. Like, let's say you had a second one, and you had it, like when you would get your mittens that had the string to go through your jacket, and then they would kind of hang.
Yeah.
So I kind of wondered if more for mom versus the grandkids, but I don't know.
Yep.
Like, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I was just,
Yeah.
so we'll see.
There's some little bells on the top.
Yeah,
That's
a little
cute.
rusty bell. So I was happy and pleased, and I think it'll be fun to do more of hers. But I was glad to get one done. Linda did she did a couple during that. She did a couple, and then somebody here. This is really fun to stitch. Let me tell you that. It would make you happy. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they do.
Several people asked, "Will there be a St. Patrick's Day Matilda?" And I thought, "You gotta be kidding me." I don't know.
No, they're good.
And I didn't know about design, so I just sat down and decided, all right, can I make Matilda into a leprechaun, and what could I pull together? Not for market. I really had a goal of today. It was going to get released, but it did not happen. But it's pretty close.
It's not done because you had that other piece that you really loved.
Yes.
So
I'm very glad. But this is, you can at least see a sneak peek. It's not for market, so I don't care. But that is Leprechaun Matilda coming to life. And I'll get her finished, and she'll be released this week just for some fun stitching. But I will tell you what, that rainbow, that was fun.
Rainbows are fun. Yep.
Right?
They are.
There was something refreshing about stitching all the brights. I don't know why, because I never stitched with stuff that bright, and it was kind of cool.
The reason I'm smiling is because the last time I was here, I had to move forward in love, and I dulled up all my rainbow colors.
Right?
So.
And I was just like...
So I don't know what it is to do bright colors, but it is joyful.
Yeah,
it is fun to look at. So.
I never do it, and when I was, like the two purples, I was like, oh, that's nice.
Yep.
Then when the orange and red go in there, I was like, wow, this is really, it was really crazy. So that's kind of, she was my little happy, no thinking kind of deal, you know, because Matilda always makes me happy for some reason. Yeah.
Because she's fun.
And guess what? I bet you never ever thought that they would make doorstops with mice. And they do. So for market, you have to have a doorstop because your door has to stay open. These weird things you don't think about.
Yep.
So Jean said, make sure you get yourself a heavy-duty doorstop. And I thought, well, could there possibly be a mouse doorstop? Well, there is cast iron, adorable mouse sitting on a wedge of cheese.
Oh, that's very cute.
Right?
That'd be nice.
Adorable.
Yep.
So that's all I got.
That's all you got?
Yeah, my book's, like, I'm keeping okay, no stickers, but my book is literally, like...
You're keeping up with it?
I am keeping up with it. There's no stickers in February yet because I don't have any, like, Valentine-y type thing. But if I go back, I did pretty good.
Yep.
And then I just drew a line.
No, I'll show you my book after we get off because it's not that exciting. I use an Excel spreadsheet.
Oh, yeah.
So all I've got date, designer, pattern name, and it just goes right down, just so that way I can sort by, because I also have a column for notes, and so whenever I have a start, I begin the block, or I begin the square with the word start. That way at the end of the year I can sort by the word start, and I can see all of my starts right away.
I can kind of see transitioning into something like that only because I went so long, everything was paper, or I didn't use a laptop. I really didn't. And now all of a sudden there's website, emails, newsletter, designing, and I'm
not
back to being, you know.
I'm not going to show all of you my format, but my laptop is right here. So so this is.
And Hurricane Ian.
So it's just one of those things that it is.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's.
But
I don't think it would show up well on camera, but.
I mean, it might.
Well, try.
But it's just a, you know, if you know Excel, you can.
Yeah. So all I've got is the day of the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Next column is the day of the year, designer name, and I abbreviate the designers. And then the names, and so it's any thread changes, like during the night, if I change something, I can be like, oh, this is what I put in this motif, just so that when I go back, I know what I changed. So so that's my.
I can see starting.
There's no stickers. Like there's no color.
Okay, there's things you could put. Oh, not in Excel. You can insert images though, but why would you?
And like I've got a folder of finishes, so that way you can just click on a link and it takes you right to the photo of the finish. So I've got that set up too. So instead of
you got
printing
a
out
code
stickers,
of where you can tally up at the end of the year how many finishes.
Because I just sort. I sort everything by the word finish, and I can see every finish for the year. So
that's cool.
Yep.
Just in case someone says, hand over your spreadsheet, Peter.
Prove what you did. So, so.
Works good.
That's all you got?
That's all I got. That's it.
I think we got through my December, my Christmas day start, Christmas break start.
November.
Yep, and so my new year, new start is Ragamuffin 2 by Shakespeare's Peddler. I visited Country Sampler in Spring Green, Wisconsin back in July, and they've got a model of this on the wall, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Wow.
And they've featured the model the last 2 or 3 times in their newsletter. So you can see it there as well, and it's just really cool.
You know what I like? I like the letters are all in. Are they in like is it a black or a brown or? It's all dark. That's great.
I forget what
really
so
pretty.
I changed a lot of the colors. Oh, where do I not get the darkness? There we go.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
So that's the beginning of my Ragamuffin 2. The alphabet that I have not finished yet, the larger letters, I'm doing those in 8-sided or 8-leg Algerian eyelets. She does, Teresa, the designer Teresa, she does say that you could do cross stitch.
Okay.
But I like the texture from Algerian eyelets. So I just do them. So
That's gorgeous.
yep.
And so that's 8 weeks of stitching. About, because since we're in February? No, all of January.
It's all of January minus 2 weeks. I went to I had some conferences the last 2 weeks of January, and so I wasn't going to pack.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of stitching then.
Yeah.
You got a lot accomplished.
Yes. So and then these are my cottons, overdyed cottons. There are some differences. One of the called for colors is oatmeal, and there are a lot of the motifs don't show up on the picture just because it's oatmeal.
Yeah.
But I changed it to Classic Color Works Mariner's Compass, because all of that is oatmeal, and
you can't see it.
You can't see it. So because of the country sampler, they use something that's a little bit darker, so that way you can see.
Yeah.
And I haven't done.
I love the golds in there too.
like the
Yes,
that
the
basket.
berry bowl.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
That's my New Year, New Start.
That's gorgeous, and you're not going to be that long, because seriously, a lot of the work is that border's not intense. I mean, it's beautiful and big, but it's not.
So here's
stitch heavy.
The thing about that border though is that it's not consistent. So you have you can't be like, okay, 9 up, 9 down, 9 up, 9 down. Yeah. It is okay. This time it's 9. Next time it's 8. So you have to. And Teresa Vanette, that's her last name. Yeah. It's in her direction. She's like, pay attention, y'all. Yeah. It is not consistent. So the other thing is that just take it out. Is all of, you can't really see them on the camera, but there are initials all throughout. Oh, cool. And we don't know who, like there's no indication of which set of initials is the stitcher, and we don't know what the initials mean or who they are. There's no information at all about it. And so I'm going to change my initials. I don't know yet to what. So
you're going to personalize it.
I'm going to personalize it. Really. What I'm going to do is, because you can like see all the little C's. It's in the white, and so I think I'm going to use people from the church I grew up in.
That's cool.
I asked my siblings and my parents for the name. You know, I'm like, when you think of, you know, Elizabeth Methodist Church, who do you think of? Yeah. And they sent, I'm like, 14 names. That's all you can send me. Right. And, you know, everybody sends different names, and so I ended up with a list of like 27 people. And so I think, so I'm either going to do like church elders. Yeah. So, you know, when you're a kid, there's the older people in the church that, you know, you admire, but you don't talk to because they're old and they scare you. Yeah. Or I'm going to do matriarchs. Right. And I think the women of the church put it on. So I don't know if it's going to be elders or matriarchs, but it's still a fun way of honoring the people when I was growing up. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to, you know, I'm a big person on patterns and how easy they are, and I've never stitched one of hers, and the pattern is very legible. Yeah. So I've kind of hesitated on, I mean, I'm just like that because a lot of times I'm stitching, and with Philip it's like I can't be trying to make that out. Yeah. Or it's just going to be a bunch of mistakes, but that's really clear. Even though it's a black and white really good pattern. I can tell. I'm kind of excited because that's her second one in the Ragamuffin type series. Yeah. That's cool.
And then my other option was, it was either going to be Ragamuffin 2 as my New Year, New Start, or the Cathhart Cal Quinn.
I don't know that one.
It was her national market release last year,
Oh,
and I kitted that up with the silks last year.
Cool.
So it's just a kit that's sitting there waiting to be
Right.
finished.
I got those.
Yeah. So then the final work in progress that I have is I had a second choice for my Christmas Day start. It was either going to be The Winter Is Past or from the Heart Remembers Blackbird design, this piece that's on the cover. Here it is, the bigger.
Yeah.
That's the bigger picture from the center of the book. And so this was originally a 5-piece mystery sampler that that came out last year in A Heart Remembers.
Yeah.
So so that was going to be my possible second option for a Christmas Day start. And so when I was kitting it all up, and at the Brick City, she's like, "Oh, I want to do that," and so we decided that we would start it together on February 1st. But she finished a project, and so she was ready to start something new. So we actually started it on, and I was going to a conference, so I wasn't going to be able to start it on February 1st. So we started it early, and so this is what we started together. The hoop marks are there because I worked on this morning, but so this is the beginning. The piece, the darker side is Fiber on a Whim parchment. The lighter side is Fiber on a Whim latte. The third piece is affogato.
That's pretty.
And then cappuccino, and then cafe au lait.
How neat, right?
All Fiber on a Whim fabrics, 36 count.
Yeah.
And so I'll have, so
That's
if you
gorgeous.
hold those, so then it will look like that. So that's what we're going to do.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, and Anne is doing...
What an interesting concept.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and Anne is doing it so
good.
that way it's all on one piece. I'm doing it so that way it's on 5 different fabrics.
Okay. So 2 different ways.
Yeah, and it's
beautiful.
one of those things that I wanted... They're all Fiber on a Whim, just because, just the way... the fabrics are dyed or dried can sort of change the way that it, the size of the stitch.
What count?
36. They're all 36. Yeah. And so,
I would think that'd be a good idea to stick with the same fabric designer in the sense that, like you're saying, because there's shrinkage, there's moving of the fabric. Some are willy-nilly, I call them, where they move more on a true linen. So I would think that would be a good idea.
And Fiber on a Whim tends to have splashes of green in it. And so to have all Fiber on a Whim means that I've got green, little pieces of green in each fabric, so that way it looks the same. It is designed so that way you can stitch each one separately and then sew them together. So when you look at the pattern, it really, the vines basically end, and there's like no leaves or, there's no half of a leaf on one to the other or half a bird. It's all vines that you have to try to match up.
Gotcha.
Heaven forbid I do the easy route. So, because, and so the called for vine color that goes across is the Weeks Dye Works Moss.
Which I love.
It's
a
good,
great color.
But the dye lot that was in the store at the time went more yellow rather than a yellowish green. So I'm using Bullfrog instead.
Oh, another good one.
Another good one. Yeah, Wheat Dye Works Bullfrog.
Yeah.
And so the thing is that it goes from a light green to a dark green. And so I wanted to be able, yeah, it's too dark to catch it, but it goes light to dark green.
Yeah.
And I want the vine to have the same gradient going across. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want it to be dark green and then light green. I wanted it to be that continuation. So I sew my two pieces together and then slide my needle under my whip stitch, because that's all I use for my fold is just a whip stitch across from my seam. Mm-hmm. And so then I just tuck my bullfrog underneath it and then get to the other side. So
does it make you want to stitch a Jeremiah?
No.
I knew that. Just thought maybe, have a bullfrog in your stash.
Maybe. So
maybe you're gonna have maybe you have a nephew, or maybe you never know. Someday you might have to just
do a
stitch
Jeremiah.
A frog. Maybe a small frog.
I'd rather do a Jeremiah than a Matilda. I don't like mice, so.
You don't like mice?
No. Yep. So that's the.
Gorgeous.
That's January, and then also in January. Well, for Christmas, I received gift certificates for Christmas presents.
The best.
I know. So I used them to finally get some things framed, and so this is Blackbird Designs Summer Harvest. This is done on 37 count legacy linen corn tassel using over-dyed cottons.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, so that's
for your Blackbird wall.
For my Blackbird, and this was I'm a horticulture major in school, so this was my unicorn chart.
That's cool.
So found it on eBay, and there we are. So that's the first one, and then the second item I got framed was Though He Seemeth.
I love that.
So, and this is by Lucy Beam, Though He Seemeth.
The colors are so good.
Yeah. I just love this one.
Yeah.
So I love the message on it. I was telling Chrissy before we started recording that if you are someone who is stitching from your stash, this is an amazing pattern to stitch your stash. The designer provides a Weeks Dye Works, Classic Color Works, Gentle Arts, or a DMC pattern. So you can mix and match to your heart's delight. So it just.
Who's the designer again?
Lucy Beam.
Lucy Beam.
Yeah.
I've never stitched one of hers either. Is that a color pattern or black and white? I feel like I saw it.
I don't remember. I did this back in 2021.
I love that.
So
you did it right when it came out, I feel like.
I did. Yeah, right when it came out, I did it just because I always, when I first fell in love with it, I was mixing up my Bible stories. So I was thinking about the time when Peter is asked to walk on the, come out to Christ on the water, but his faith fails him and he falls through. Whereas Christ sleeping in a boat is a different story. So I mixed up my stories when I fell in love with it. but still,
it's still there.
But it's still one of those things that I still love the pattern and the message, and so this is. I'm very happy to have this on the wall finally. So.
I ordered mine.
Yeah, so it's
someone else brought it in Brick City when I was there Wednesday. I think the daughter brought the mother, and the mother stitches up, so she had brought up some of her pieces for everybody to look at, and that was there. I'm pretty confident. Different linen. I like the more tan.
Oh, sorry. So
what was that?
Yeah, sorry. On? So this is 40 count fox and rabbit up in the attic.
Nice.
With various overdyed.
That's pretty.
Cottons. This border is all, even though it changes a lot, it's very variegated. So it's all one one color, so it's fun to just go to
Yeah.
it. So, yep.
I love it. I love it.
Yep. So that's what I've been working on.
You got haul?
I have some haul.
I've been so good.
Yeah. So.
Kinda.
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 So, I bought. You already saw my needlework press was one thing from Black Friday. Also,
Yeah.
and I forgot to pack. I've got the gathering clovers from Misty Parcells. Luminous Fiber.
Yeah, Luminous Fiber.
Yeah, so that was, for some odd reason, that was in the 50% off too. I'm like,
I got a
yes,
few.
yes, please.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, so I bought those two, and then I was trying to do something. I was reconsidering my fabrics for I never said it. That Blackbird with the 5 pieces is called Heart and Home Patchwork.
Heart and Home Patchwork.
Yeah, and so I was reconsidering my fabric. So I was at Victorian Rose Needle Arts, and I've been looking at buying this for a long time. So I finally went ahead and purchased it. So part of it is just because I'm working on that all of the blues with the winter's past. I'm really enjoying those blues. This is the exact same thing. And you know what's funny is Annie on the Proper Stitcher, she's got an antique in her background. Yeah. And I thought it was this, and so I'm like, oh, she's got it done. I need to finish that, or I need to start that. And then she's like, oh no, that's an antique, and it's like, oh yeah, I can do the next best thing. So
she started collecting small blue antique samplers.
Yeah, and then I also bought a piece of fabric.
It's gorgeous.
And this is called Mermaid's Firewood. Sorry, Mermaid's Firewood. From Dames of the Needle.
Oh, that is gorgeous.
And so, this is the fabric that I'm going to use for my Christmas presents.
I love that.
My Christmas present that I'm going to use that Mermaid's Firewood on is, we've all seen it, the Maker and the Mender.
Somebody just finished that. Camping Stitcher? No, somebody did.
I know the Camping Stitcher finished it. Mrs. Jones Stitches, she finished it.
Yes.
Quite a few weeks ago, and then Alicia, Fanciful Flamingo. I forget where she is, but I think maybe she's the one that finished it.
She's the one that
Yeah. So.
Okay. Very nice.
But I may change the wording. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Because it reads the needle, be it though so slim and slender, which has taken me a while to figure out how to say it. But I think I'm going to change it to the needle, though it be so slim.
Yeah.
And I went back to the original poem because I'm like, well, maybe it's just one of those weird old English.
Yeah, right.
They speak differently, so.
Right.
But the original poem is actually the needle, though it be.
That was. So, I ran into that on the Twin Peak Primitives, the Thanksgiving prayer one behind you, and it had something that was like, that isn't, because I actually Googled Thanksgiving prayer.
Yep.
And it's like, that does not seem like it was off, but that was really how it was, and you're kind of guessing that it goes so far back that they had a little bit different use of the language.
So I don't know yet. I have 8 works in progresses, so I have to finish 3 of them before I start that.
That's a rule. That's a Peter rule?
That's what I want. Okay. Just because
it makes you feel good.
5 is a handful, so let's get it down to 5. So, and then for Christmas, I also got the Deck the Coop pen keep.
I love that.
We saw this at Country Sampler.
Oh.
So my parents, they live an hour and 15 minutes south of Country Sampler, so I was visiting them last summer. And we're like, okay, what do we do? Where do we go? And it's like, well, there's a stitch shop.
There just happened.
Up in Spring Green. and what's really cool is that my mom is from that area. And so Spring Green High School was like in their high school league conference. Yeah. So she knew exactly where spring green was. And
Oh, that was good.
we got to, on the way there, we drove through the town of Dodgeville, which is the county seat. So I got to see the courthouse where they got their marriage certificates and the jewelry store where they got some of their
Did you take pictures?
crystal. No, I'm not that sentimental. Sorry.
You are.
But I got to see it. I got to see it,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's it. And then I also, for my in-laws, I got the Blackbird When the Leaves Fall. So,
I have that one.
yeah, and Anne is finished
Okay.
A Token of Love. So, and it's absolutely phenomenal to see in person. So that's on the list of
What you gonna
things
stitch?
to get done this year.
Well, let me know, and then I'll stitch it with you.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll see. And then my mother-in-law also bought me a book called Sampler Stitching.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just a book for recording.
It's a really nice book. Needlewood
yeah.
Press does it, right? Or no, Artist Designs.
Artist
Sorry.
Designs, yep. And so it allows you to put in all of your information,
Right.
and then you can print out a photo to put it there. So
That is one of my favorites. I have that one too, and I think it's one of the nicest and well done as far as what you can include.
Yep. So that was
Yeah.
that's all I've bought or received as gifts. So
It's good. It's a good stitching year. Is your mom watching? Should we be like, hey, Mom?
yeah, she probably is.
Well, you should do that. Say,
Hi, Mom. And Dad. And yeah.
And everybody.
Yep.
Do they still have sheep?
No, they don't.
No. What
No.
animals do they have left on the?
They don't have any animals on the farm
All-
right
all
now.
done.
So yeah.
Gotcha. I
Yeah,
gotcha.
but we still got the farm. So
You never
that's-
know. Maybe one day you'll be up there.
no.
No, never happened. Okay, just check it.
No.
Well, you never know.
Nope.
You can
never
visit.
know.
No, not happening. It's not happening.
No,
Farmer
maybe.
Pete.
Well, we'll see.
But
So,
now
I
now
love
you
helping.
know.
You
Yeah.
know, with my job, I get to help all the farmers in Florida.
Yes.
And that's a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw a gator at the neighborhood
Mhm.
next where my dad, he used to live in Arlington, and it's got a golf course, and it always amazes me when that size of a gator will be sunning itself and the guys are still playing golf, like, and it's just crazy. I haven't seen it in here yet, but they have a name for, I think it's Charlie,
Oh,
the
okay.
gator, right? But I
All-
mean, it's
all
a
great
good,
gators have to have a name.
they do.
So,
But I mean, my gosh,
yep.
he's a big whopper.
Yep.
So that's Florida for you. But I don't want to go back to the snow either. But now you have a constant, every time you visit Mom, you can go to Country Sampler.
I can. Yep.
Right? So, like,
So-
yeah, Mom, I'll be there to visit. She'll be like, he's coming again. He's coming again.
Yeah,
It's
but,
a hidden reason.
they enjoyed it as well.
Yeah.
So they had fun at the store. So
That's good. All right. Well, is that it?
that's all
Are
I
we
brought.
good?
Yep.
Well, you kind of did your
Which
whole
is
floss
what?
tube, which is why you should probably have a floss tube.
No, it's
No,
a
you
lot
just-
of it's a lot of like
It is, isn't
putting
it?
all this together, and I know that it's been 3 months, so I had more than normal, but
Yeah.
pressing stuff so that way it didn't have rings
Yeah.
in it, and you do a great job of answering comments and giveaways and mailing giveaways and no.
No. I did
That's-
kind of, I think I felt like it was time to phase out of some of the giveaways. It's hard
Yeah.
to keep track of, so it's kind of,
Yeah.
if I hit 8,000, whenever I will send out what I have.
Yeah.
But other
And
than that, I kind of just phased right out
And I've
of it.
enjoyed, like, the beginning of this year, we've seen a lot of new floss tubers
Right.
that have been really exciting to see.
Yeah.
So, so it's fun to watch others. But
Yeah.
This is enough for me.
No, I gotcha. In the last week, it's funny how I watch it in spurts, because I'll have a week and it's like I'll just keep it going and then when my sister came and my dad had a medical thing, which that was the answered prayer, everything went great, but then I didn't watch it at all.
Yep.
So sometimes then I feel like I'm behind, but I enjoyed Hannah, what's a fairy stitcher,
Yep.
and I know everybody was watching the
New Hampshire Stitcher.
New Hampshire Stitcher and the antique needleworkers.
Yep.
I think that was good.
And the museum stitcher is not new this year, but she's fairly new. She's fun to watch.
Right.
The Seattle stitcher is the same thing. Where
Yes.
they came out late last year, so
Right.
but they're fun to watch as well.
So your plans basically are to get your whips into a handful.
Yeah.
That's kind of where you're heading over.
Yeah.
Over spring. We'll just
Yeah,
call them
so-
spring plans, and you can come back later.
Yeah, so I had 2 goals for the entire year, which was I would only stitch patterns that I owned on January 1st.
Gotcha.
So that's my one big thing. And then the other big thing is to go to one retreat with a designer.
Ah.
So-
Do we know what that one is? I mean,
What-
have you already scheduled that, or
Whatever I can get into.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things where,
Right.
wherever I can get into. So.
Well, I know this week I think I'm this close. Once I finish Shamrock Matilda, I think I'm back to whips. So Prairie
Good.
Schooler, and I think I did it. So I think this week I can finally go back and figure out what it is that I left off on and what I am in the mood to stitch. I have the
Fruits of Plenty.
Yeah, and I
You
have
haven't
the
worked
red.
on it since.
I know. I do want to pull off a finish of. I had that red sampler, just a small one, and I ran out of the red. Now I haven't bought it, but it's that close.
Yep.
And all I have are motifs, so I know I want to pull off a finish on that. And then I would like to do the Fruit of Plenty. It's down there, but you know what? I think I really learned how much I like red. And I think if I had done Fruit of Plenty, I'm just wondering if I had done Fruit of Plenty in reds instead of 2 blues, 2 reds, would I have ever put it down?
Right.
Because red just seems to keep me going no matter what I'm working on. So I love the blue. I mean, I absolutely do love it. But so yeah, I'll get that back out. But I wonder if I ever did one of his again, if I did a red work versus if I would stay with it, because for some reason red never seems to get old
so he's got
for me.
one that is like a Christmas theme with the Icelandic alphabet.
Yeah.
That is really cool looking. It's got reindeer.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to find the perfect red to stitch that this year. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
So I'm going to go back to some normal stitching. I have a finish I want to do of Tina, who had done her little sampler one. I showed it to you last time. I never did a fully finish of it, so I've got a couple of things I want to do that. And then I will do a market FlossTube at some point middle of the week, and that's it. I think normalcy might return a little bit.
That's scary.
I'm not normal.
Whatever normal
But-
is.
Right, no, we don't know normal. But yeah, I think I'll finally be able to just make that decision. What do I want to pick up tonight? And I haven't felt like that in a good couple months. So
Very good.
yeah. Okay, other than that, I guess that's it. All right, you guys, have a great week. We're glad, I'm glad you came.
Yep, it was
And
fun.
you filled up, yes. And I will definitely see you next Sunday, if not before then, with market releases. So my husband said, if you don't say it right this time.
I'll say it. I'll say it.
All right, guys, everybody have a blessed week. Thanks so much. We'll catch you later. And
Don't forget to floss.
Bye, guys.